Have you ever heard of a place where reality bends and the impossible becomes real? A desolate patch of land in Utah where science meets the supernatural in a battle for answers? Welcome to Skinwalker Ranch, a 500-acre enigma cursed by ancient legends, stalked by shape-shifting creatures, and illuminated by eerie lights in the night sky. What sets this story apart isn't just the spine-chilling tales of a family's nightmare or the unexplained phenomena that defy logic. It's the decade-long scientific investigation by top researchers that tried, and failed, to crack its secrets. Get ready for a journey into one of the most credible and terrifying paranormal mysteries ever documented. Deep in the northeastern corner of Utah lies a sprawling 500-acre plot of land, surrounded by the stark beauty of desert plains and rugged hills, an unassuming place that hides a dark and ancient secret. This is Skinwalker Ranch, a name that now echoes through the annals of paranormal lore, but its story begins long before the ranch itself was built. In the 1800s, this land belonged to the Navajo tribe, a people rooted in tradition and spirituality, who lived in harmony with the earth until that harmony was shattered. Their neighbors, the Utes tribe, driven by desperation or greed, turned against them, capturing Navajo men, women, and children and selling them into slavery to the expanding United States. The betrayal cut deep, and as the Navajo were forcibly driven from their ancestral home, they left behind more than just their footprints. They left a curse. Known as the Skinwalker Curse, it was a vengeful invocation of dark magic, calling upon witches, skinwalkers, who could shed their human form and take on the guise of predatory animals, particularly wolves and foxes, to stalk and torment anyone who dared to claim this land. The curse was meant to punish the Utes, to make the land a place of fear and unrest, a warning woven into the very soil. Decades passed, and the memory of the conflict faded, but the curse lingered, silent and waiting. Sometime in the late 1800s or early 1900s, settlers arrived, unaware of the history they were stepping into, and built a ranch on this cursed ground. They constructed a homestead, barns, and corrals, envisioning a quiet life of raising cattle and tending crops, oblivious to the unseen forces that watched from the shadows. The ranch stood as a testament to human ambition, but it was also a beacon, an invitation, for the curse to awaken. For years, the land remained quiet, its secrets buried beneath the windswept dunes and gnarled trees, but that silence wouldn't last. The stage was set, the players were about to arrive, and the Skinwalker's legacy was ready to unfold in ways no one could have predicted. What began as a forgotten feud between tribes would soon become a modern mystery, one that would draw in families, scientists, and skeptics alike, all seeking answers to questions that refused to be answered. This was the beginning of Skinwalker Ranch, not just a place, but a phenomenon that would challenge everything we think we know about the world. In the spring of 1994, Terry and Gwen Sherman pulled up to Skinwalker Ranch with their 2 children and a truck full of belongings, their hearts brimming with excitement. They'd scored the 500-acre property at a bargain price, a steal for a family of cattle breeders dreaming of wide-open pastures and a fresh start. The ranch had been abandoned for years, its grass overgrown and its buildings weathered, but the Shermans saw potential where others saw neglect. As they stepped into the homestead, though, they couldn't help but notice the oddities. Every window and door was fitted with heavy deadbolts, locked from both sides, even between interior rooms, and massive chains dangled from pikes at the entrances, hinting at guard dogs of formidable size. Terry, a rugged rancher with years of experience, shrugged it off. Maybe the previous owners were just paranoid, he thought, isolated as they were in this desert expanse. But that first day, as the family unloaded their boxes with help from Terry's father and brother, the ranch revealed it was anything but ordinary. Terry glanced toward a distant tree line and spotted a figure, a wolf, or so it seemed, moving slowly toward them across the open plain. It was far off at first, weaving through the brush, and he pointed it out to his family, unconcerned. They were used to predators. Rifles were part of their toolkit. But as the creature drew closer, its size became impossible to ignore. Standing beside a fence with 6-foot gaps, the wolf matched its length, a hulking 6-foot beast that defied nature. Stranger still, it didn't snarl or skulk. It approached with an eerie calm, wagging its tail like a pet dog. The family stood transfixed as it reached them, close enough for Terry's father to reach out and stroke its matted fur, its amber eyes glinting in the daylight. Then, without warning, it turned, bounded toward a pen of calves, and clamped its jaws around one's head, trying to wrench it through the bars. Snapped out of their trance, Terry and his brother sprang into action, firing bullets into the wolf's flank, shots that should have felled any animal. But the beast didn't flinch. It released the calf and trotted off into the woods, leaving no blood, no tracks, just a lingering, foul chemical stench that burned their nostrils. Determined, Terry and his son tracked it into the forest, finding massive paw prints in the muddy ground, prints that abruptly stopped, as if the creature had vanished into thin air. That night, the family tried to rationalize it, chalking it up to a rogue predator, but the ranch had more in store. Over the weeks, the inexplicable piled up. Tools disappeared from sheds only to reappear in treetops. A 70-pound fence digger found tangled 70 feet up in a tree. Groceries, when unpacked, were stuffed back into bags when she turned away. Towels vanished from the bathroom, reappearing in distant closets. Livestock began to vanish too. Cows and calves gone without a trace, some returning days later with surgical cuts, their flesh carved away with precision no predator could manage. At night, the desert sky lit up with dancing orbs, blue, orange, white, hovering silently above the fields. Terry chased them once, thinking they were trespassers' headlights, only to watch them rise and vanish into the stars. Then came the figures, tall, featureless humanoids that pressed against the windows, their hands tapping the glass, muttering in a guttural, alien tongue. The family bolted every lock, but the intrusions didn't stop. One winter night, Terry lost 3 guard dogs to a blue orb they chased into the woods. He found only ashes the next day, scorched into the snow. By spring 1995, the Shermans were unraveling, sleepless, paranoid, their livelihood bleeding away with each missing cow. Terry took to stalking the property with his rifle, spotting a stealth-like craft scanning the trees and, through his scope, an orange portal spitting out shadowy figures onto his land. The breaking point came when those faceless entities grew bolder, peering into their home night after night. Exhausted and terrified, Terry put the ranch up for sale and told their story to a local news outlet, desperate to escape the nightmare that had consumed their dream. Word of the Shermans' ordeal spread beyond Utah's borders, catching the eye of Robert Bigelow, a billionaire with a lifelong obsession with the unexplained. A real estate mogul who'd funneled millions into paranormal research, Bigelow saw Skinwalker Ranch as the ultimate prize, a living laboratory of high strangeness. He bought the property in 1996 and turned it into the headquarters of his National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, a team of PhDs and scientists handpicked for their skepticism and expertise. Bigelow wanted credibility, not speculation, and tasked them with unraveling the ranch's mysteries. Terry, still haunted yet curious, stayed on as ranch manager, while Gwen and the kids distanced themselves from the place that had broken them. The NIDS team moved in with cutting-edge equipment, cameras, sensors, infrared goggles, determined to test every theory. For the first year, they ruled out the obvious. No hallucinogenic plants in the soil, no toxins in the water, no psychological disorders in the Shermans. The ranch was quiet at first, save for occasional flickers of light, but the scientists' presence seemed to stir the pot. One day, as Terry and Gwen tagged calves, a yellow-tagged newborn was left alone for 40 minutes, only to be found dissected, its legs and head intact, the tag gone, and no blood spilled. The NIDS veterinarian marveled at the surgical precision, unlike any predator's work. Soon after, guard dogs at observation posts cowered, staring toward the trees, where Terry spotted a massive wolf-like humanoid perched on a branch. He fired, but it vanished into the woods, leaving claw prints and that familiar rotting stench. The team scoured the property, finding nothing but more questions. Then came the bulls. 4 prized animals locked in a corral disappeared as Terry and Gwen worked elsewhere. Hours later, Terry found them crammed inside a wired-shut trailer nearby. Calm as if in a trance, the corral's bars magnetized with no explanation. The NIDS crew set up nightly vigils, and in late 1997, 2 researchers on a ridge watched an orange orb form near the homestead. Through infrared, they saw a portal open, a black humanoid crawl out, and sprint past them up the hillside, its footsteps crunching shale just 30 feet away. They smelled that metallic reek again, their compasses spinning wildly. Other incidents piled up, compasses failing near the stench, a calf mutilated in minutes, lights darting silently across the sky. The team captured photos, videos, and testimony, but never the smoking gun Bigelow craved. By 1998, the phenomena slowed, fewer orbs, no more portals, and by 2004, with funding drying up and no definitive proof, NIDS disbanded. The scientists left frustrated, convinced they'd brushed against something real yet elusive, always one step ahead. Terry, too, felt it, an intelligence toying with them, revealing just enough to tantalize but never to solve. Bigelow sold the ranch, but its legacy endured in books and reports from those who'd lived its strangeness. Skinwalker Ranch remains a paradox, a place where mutilated cattle, magnetic anomalies, and eyewitness accounts defy dismissal, yet resist explanation. Was it a hoax, a natural quirk, or a glimpse beyond our reality? The data, lights on film, carved flesh, hundreds of testimonies suggest something happened, but what? The ranch sits quiet now, its secrets locked in the desert wind, daring the next curious soul to try where science faltered. Skinwalker Ranch isn't just a story, it's a challenge to what we believe is possible. From a cursed land steeped in tribal vengeance to a family's descent into terror, and a scientific quest that raised more questions than answers, it stands as one of the most documented paranormal cases in history. Whether you see it as fact, fiction, or something in between, the ranch's pull is undeniable. Its mysteries linger, inviting you to wonder what lies beyond the veil, and will we ever truly know?